Ooh, Apple, wow. They have earnings or something? Apple's going 150. Today's day 341. As always, guys, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. Click the icon to alert if I make new videos. I would really, really appreciate that, guys. That helps me out and the NormackNoTrading.com community out a ton. Apple's flying right now. Today's the 28th. All right, save. Go to your channel. I don't see any earnings on Apple, though. All right, guys. Just getting everything set up here. Hopefully you guys had a great trading day out there. Hopefully you guys, traded well. Hopefully you guys have been studying hard and making sure, you're playing your process and your strategy has a concrete edge. Let's see here, crypto. Apple seems to be climbing, I think, on news. Obviously, it's some good news. But here, 1 second. Hopefully you guys, again, traded well. Hopefully you guys have been working hard. And, yeah. All right, now let's go live on TikTok. Let's see here. So 150K today. All right, there's that. Now we're live on TikTok. What's going on Instagram? I don't know why Apple's moving. Obviously, it's probably because of earnings or some type of news on it. Go back and look at my feed here. 90 billion share buyback. 85.9 billion. Expectation 77 billion. Wow. Yeah, they crushed their earnings. They blew out their earnings, guys. Good for Apple. I'm in them on that dip, so continues to pan out nicely. That company is a great company. You really wonder how big they're going to get. All right, let me post this here and then go like, have I not posted it in 1K? All right, so PTX, MVIS, OCGN, UXIN. Sorry, guys. And last one is, let's do one more. All right, guys. We're live everywhere that we should be. Let's go to Twitter and make sure that posted quickly. Okay, awesome. All right. I'm going to go on TikTok and make a video. Alrighty, guys, $150,000 day on an $856,000 account. Here's all my trades. Deposit if you need to. Apple's flying on a share buyback there, and earnings, great earnings as well. You see NBC talking about it right there. I'm live. Make sure to follow me on my YouTube now, and there's my TikTok and Instagram. And there's my scanner. Follow for more, guys.
Alrighty, guys, $150,000 day on an $856,000 account. Here's all my trade deposit if you need to. Apple's flying on a sheer buyback there. I know earnings, great earnings as well. Make sure to follow me on my YouTube now. And there's my TikTok and Instagram.
Just give me 1 second. I'm just setting everything up, guys. Appreciate that, guys. Just setting everything up here. Alright, we're going to post that.
Alright, after you guys blew up my last...
What's going on, guys?
Definitely trying to find something cool. Alrighty, guys.
SNMP.
Alright. So we're live here at NAKD.com. We got all our streams going and we're good to go. Apple's looking to make new highs here. Awesome stuff there on Apple. I'm glad that I got in way down there on the dip. And looks like we might be making highs. But anyways, today, guys, it's basically been it was a very volatile day on one stock and one stock alone, and that was BTX. There was others, and I made good, solid P&L on UXIN because of my conviction, because of, the way I was trading it and things like that. What's going on, Diego? Good to have you on, man. Hope you're still hanging in there. Hope you're still grinding, man. It's good to have you in. Diego's one of the solid traders and students at NAKD.com, and I know you've been grinding it out and going through some rough patches, but I hope that you continue to study. Knowledge is always power, as I always say. So, but anyways, so as always, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Let's see here. Sorry, let's go like this, and we'll go like that. And then, but yeah, guys, so hopefully you guys had a great trading day. Hopefully you guys have been crushing it out there. Today, we started to really get the markets back, which was so nice to see. It was nice to feel. And, at the end of the day, guys, trading is, about consistency. It's about making sure you have a proper plan, a process, and a strategy throughout your trading day to create opportunities for yourself that maybe you didn't have before, right? And in that being said, it's one of those things where, you as a trader, you need to make sure that you have an edge. If you don't have an edge, then you might as well go to the casino. And the way that I wish that I would have gone back and told myself how to trade was, basically starting from, nothing. Starting from, a very, very, very small amount, whether it be $10, $100, or $1,000, right? And, consistently growing that. And let's look at it this way, right? If you blow up a $10 account, you blow it up once, you blow it up twice, you blow it up 3 times, and 4 times, and 5 times, and 6 times, and 7 times, and 8 times. And then that 9th time, you're like, okay, finally I went from $100 down to like $60, or sorry, $10 down to like $60, $6, $10 down to $6, and then you bring it back up to $10, and then $12, and then $15, and finally you're starting to build off of all the ways that you lost, and you learn from all the times that you lost, and use that into a strategy to help you create yourself to get the winners going, right? And so, now all of a sudden you've turned $10 into $100, and you just basically made up for all the accounts that you blew up and then some. And not only that, but now you have a consistent plan, a process, and a strategy that works. Not only that, but then you can compound the account to where you're using the house's money or the market's money to create that opportunity for yourself that you never would have had if you would have started with, let's say, 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 and just blew it up. A lot of times I see people make mistakes where, they end up not being able to trade properly, right? They end up not being able to kind of get out of this $10,000 hole they created themselves. and all of a sudden they took $10,000 and turned it into zero, and that one time they blew up their account, they quit forever, right? And that's just one of the many mistakes. But if you start with too much money, in my opinion, it can really hurt you, and that's where a lot of times you'll see people fail in the markets is, people come out too hot. They come out, I want money now, and I want, and I want it now, and that's the world we live in. But the reality is, are you thinking 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road for yourself? And if you have that mentality, then I think you're setting yourself off better than if someone was to think like, well, I want it now, and I want this now, and I need it now, right? And so it's tough to say that, we don't all want to have financial freedom right now, and we don't all want some type of financial stability right now. But at the end of the day, it takes time. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of knowledge. It takes a lot of studying and time and effort being put in. And all those things can correlate with the way that you trade, and I see a lot of people that just put way too much money in right away, and they come to me and they say, I'm really frustrated. I just lost a ton of money, and I don't know what to do. And it's like, well, if you would have started with $10 or $5 or, $100, and you blew it up once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, well, you still can take a 6th time or a 7th time or an 8th time, and you can still compound your account, continue to grow it. And at the end of the day, it's not about P&L. I know that I say I'm up 150,000. I know that I said yesterday I was down 240,000 and all these things, but it's percentages, study, knowledge is power, and then keep compounding your knowledge into creating that opportunity for yourself. So, Seabass, how many calls you hold, man? That's awesome. Glad to see you're banking on Apple. Be careful, though, because the IV might have already priced the earnings in. I don't know. But anyways, so Boeing out of the gates. Let me cover every trade that I made today. So Boeing, I was watching this one. I was washing on the scans. The scans kept washing this one out, and I kept getting it on my scanner. Once I saw that bright green candle there that beat all the rest of these candles, I started to long it at 233.60. So that is right where that white line is, right there. And then took it off at 234.14, so basically right in there, and then it continued to go. For a little gainer. And then GSX, took a little trade on it, just basically washed out for $6,000 loss, and then GSX, $10,000 winner there. And UXIN was my big trade of the day. This is one that I was watching into today. And when I saw this first run up here, I was like, okay, I missed it the other day. Where was it? It was right here. Yeah. So UXIN ran from 168 to 170 all the way up to 240s. And this was actually an overnight idea. And then, and the overnight idea, by the way, just to make it clear, is 168.5. So it was right on where that line is, right about there. So people that were overnight in the room banked. But, basically, once I saw this breakout, it's one that's been on my back burner. It's been that I've been watching for a while. I've been really looking at this one for a while. And when I saw this pop on the scanners throughout the morning, I was like, okay. I literally knew right away. I was like, all right. If you go back and look, we had our first run here. And this is one that I've been watching. And I said it when I alerted the overnight idea right here. As I said, watch for a multi-week, multi-month idea. So I can actually pull that up because I explained it here. Where is it? So, where was my overnights? UXIN, you can see it here. 423, all right, and UXIN overnight idea, multi-month idea. So 168.5, it was an overnight idea, but it was also a multi-month idea. And I really liked it because, if you go back and look at this chart, right, on the yearly, we're kind of in this range over the past 8 months where we just kind of perk up and we come down, we perk up and we come down, we perk up and we come down. But every time we sell off, it keeps just not selling off, basically. And not only that, but if you go back and look at the max chart, this thing has basically just been hammered. Just down, 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 down. Not only that, but stocks, I don't even see any stocks that are underneath $1 anymore. There's very few stocks that are underneath $1 anymore. So that, and every time they were underneath $1, they seem to always be, just grinding upwards. I don't know why that is. I remember just 2 years ago there was tons of stocks under $1. Now if you go and look on Finviz for stocks under $1, there's hardly any. And not only that, but when I saw this initial run here and then this consolidation, this is day 3. So I usually wait for what I call a perk up. Then day 1, day 2, and day 3 almost always breaks out. And if it doesn't, then it generally fails. So this was day 3. And when I saw this break right here with all this volume, to me, I was like, okay, this is confirmation that this thing has real solid strength. Okay? And so when this thing perked up here, I already knew in my head I was going to be longing it. I just wanted to see some dips. And some solid dips at that. And so I wasn't going to get FOMO. I wasn't going to chase the front side here. I was just going to, in my head, I was like, okay, here's my plan. Once I saw this on the scan and once I got to 260s and 270s, I was like, to me, that's confirmation, right? Because not only that, but if you go back and look, we broke those highs at 246s and with absolute ease, 246s right here, and we broke up into here, into 270s and 275s, right? And so, I basically said this strength was confirmation. Now I'm basically just going to wait for the dips and continue to just scale in and buy in on the dips. And that's what I did. UXIN had 245,000 shares at 249 average. So basically, I'll tell you exactly how I did this. So I started to kind of dribble in a little bit at a time right here. This is where I took about, I would say, a fifth of my size, right? Let's say I'm gonna say probably a tenth of my size was right here. Reason being, I got one solid sell-off here. Here's the second sell-off, basically. We're starting to come back down, and I know 246 is where the previous couple days breakout was, meaning 246 was right where the breakout was there. So I knew that was going to be some decent support because there was some volume there from a couple of days ago. And so I started to kind of buy basically on that level, right? We sold off there, and I bought some right in here. I had a little bit more, but I was just taking about a tenth of my size. Right in here is where at 240s, I remember specifically. There was 240 on the ask and 239 on the ask, and literally I was sitting there and I said anything when I knew, like, okay, first sell-off, second sell-off, third sell-off is where I start to take my real size, right? And getting under VWAP with the amount of conviction I had on the long side was then that much more there created liquidity because a lot of times when it gets under VWAP, a lot of people stop out. So I'm accumulating this stop out here and here and in here. And right in here, I took about probably 5. Actually, no. I'm going to say I took about 8/10 of my size. Now let's go 7/10 of my size. I was adding big in here. I probably added about 100,000 shares just in this churning in here. Then we kept consolidating, and I didn't really add anything. Now, once I saw this retest, right? So I added a little bit here because I still had conviction, and it was 1, 2, 3, 4 red candles in a row on the 1 minute. Wicks on wicks on wicks, solid sell-off. Had a perk back, and once we perked back, I added about a 20th of the size here, and then I added about 3/20ths of the size here. And I was basically scaled in the entire position, like right in here and right in here. So all I was doing was big picture, trying to find the solid dips, trying to make sure the trend was holding throughout the consolidation period. And then I sold off everything right here. Right on this candle and right in here is where I sold off my entire position, right? And, in the back of my head, I was like, well, I still am convicted to the long side, but I want to take my size off, so I almost added here. Obviously, wish I would have 20/20 hindsight, but, that is what it is. So, a solid trade, 245,000 shares, and $109,000 winner. And then I wanted to cover BTX. Wow, it's coming back. BTX was just a real headache. BTX was one of those things where, why Wow, it's coming back. So that's awesome. I hope the thing goes to 100. But BTX was one of those things where, I saw this and I knew that it was volatile. And I didn't want to give back any profits. And I was trying to build a game plan long and short. And so I was trying to build a game plan long and short. And you can see I've always shorted and longed it. But where I really nailed my trade on this one was basically in here. I could see, so SSR basically means short sale restriction, right? So people were shorting on the ask and bringing this thing down, and you can see them on the ask. So in here, I saw, and I knew even in here, right? And I even saw some people in here, basically shorting on the ask. And it was cheap borrows, which makes me think this could continue to go. People are borrowing this stock, and it's cheap, and there's plenty of shares. I was able to get plenty of shares. The borrow fees are cheap. And so, this move here, I actually was calculating based upon, all the shorts that were trying to jam this thing down and jam it down right in here. So we had shorts trying to get in here and in here. I could literally see them and in here and in here. And I knew that, so basically people were just shorting on the, when I click short, right, short sell restriction, as far as I know, I was on the ask. I was on the ask shorting it, meaning people have to buy my shares in order for me to short it. I can't just short it market and run the thing down, right? I'm on the ask. And so I saw that, and I started to get long every time I took a dip. So some in here, some in here, some in here. And I ended up with a $40.98 average. So that was a really good average. Actually, under 41. I'm impressed with that average. That's the first time I can say that in a while. So I basically took a lot of this dip and a lot of this dip and kept it under $41 a share. So my entry was underneath that white line, underneath $41. So I took, basically my long was perfect. I was on the wicks. And then this thing halted up at $46 a share. As it was halting, I took it all off. I'm like, I don't want any part of this. This thing could slam back down. And took it all off, So you can see, I took many trades on this name and basically just kept taking paper cut after paper cut after paper cut. And not getting a clear conviction, not getting a clear risk off. That's just trading. I've been on here way too long. And lastly, VYNT. This is a sympathy play. Same with RHE. I want you guys to watch this in tomorrow. Where was I at? VYNT. So, I was watching this one all day, as well as IG and as well as RHE. And, those three were my main watches between sympathies of BTX, right? Ariel, shout out to him. He was the one who found this first. And so VYNT, I just started to accumulate. I think it was in here, or maybe it was right in here or in here, where I started to realize that this thing could really go, because BTX was finally in the $50 range. And I was like, wow, this thing, BTX is starting to really ramp and rip. This thing could really go. And we had a pop here. And I really thought if I was going to take anything off, I wanted to see a huge rip. If not, I was probably going to hold it overnight, at least some of it. And we had a huge rip into the close, and literally I just took it off because I told myself, if it pays out and rips into the close, I'm probably going to take it off. If it doesn't, I probably end up holding this overnight. So it ripped into the close, and I took it off perfectly. It was a $30,000 winner. And I want to watch that one tomorrow as well. It's one of my top watches, as well as RHE, which I took a $5,700 winner on, 626 in, and then when we perked up to 699, I took my shares off up there, $5,700 winner. I tried to short BTX into the close. Luckily, I'm not holding it short, but I didn't get anything to quite sell off. I wanted it under 40 to cover, but I didn't get it, and lost about $4,100. We had a nice sell-off there, but ever since then, we've just gone straight up and straight up. So, if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Those of you guys who are contemplating and debating whether to subscribe, you might as well click it, because it just helps the NorMagnoTrading.com community out. I come on here every day for free for you guys. This stream was way too long. I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in and supporting the NorMcNoTrading.com community. How many stocks per day trading session do you follow at the same time? But probably anywhere from 8 to 12 hours of screen time and level 2 tape watching. How do you... Coffee Kid. You took most of the move? Yeah, exactly. New here. That's awesome, Ollie. Congrats. Good to have you on. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. Click the icon below if I'm making videos. Hopefully I'm inspiring and motivating you guys to become better traders. Guys, there's bumps and valleys throughout trading, but you have to keep your head up. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep grinding. You know, within the past 2 weeks, I lost $1 million, and then just yesterday, I lost $250,000. So I can sit here and complain all that I want, but at the end of the day, guys, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to keep my head down. I'm just going to keep pushing and keep building my knowledge and keep studying, because I know the more knowledge, the more studying, the more preparation that I create for myself, the better off I'll do in the long run. So I know that there's going to be losses throughout and along the way, but it only makes me better in the future. And I hope that you guys all have that mindset, okay? I appreciate every single one of you guys for liking and subscribing to the channel. Click the icon below if I'm making new videos. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Click the icon below if I'm making new videos.